Hey guys, so by now you should have completed the task for Unit 3. I hope that you paid attention and looked over the notes and watched the videos for lessons 3.02 and 3.03, and then there were some notes for 3.04. But I just kind of wanted to go over these and kind of explain the answers because I know this is a really tough unit, and so I wanted to just kind of explain what the answers were so that way if you got them wrong, you would know why you got them wrong, and it would hopefully make sense. So let's start with task 3.02, which is the changes in demand. Use insect or non-price determinants to support your answer, and that's where you've got to make sure you go back in the lesson. Um, Here's lesson 3.02. Here's the PowerPoints. Use that. Use the demand notes. Watch the video because it literally, like they tell you, like right here, a shift to the right, an increase in demand is going to happen because of these things or a decrease. So they can be very helpful to you. But number one, the nation is experiencing a severe drought with no sign of relief in the near future. What's happening to umbrellas? The answer to that is going to be D. The demand for umbrellas is going to decrease. Well, why? Okay, well, if we're having a drought, that means it's not raining, so we don't need to buy umbrellas. So people aren't wanting to buy umbrellas as much. So the demand's going to decrease, which is going to mean that the D1 curve moves to the left to D3. To help sell umbrellas, stores offer a 50% discount. So what's going to happen to umbrellas? All it does here is change the price. Your price decreases. So your price goes from A to B. So it's going to be A because it's still a drought. So the demand for umbrellas isn't going up. Change of price, it only affects where it is on the demand curve. Remember, a change in price causes you to move along the demand curve. It does not change the demand, only the quantity demanded. Okay, number three, the cost of producing umbrellas increases. So what happens to the demand for umbrellas? That is E, no change. Okay, just because it's more expensive to produce umbrellas, that has nothing to do with the demand for umbrellas. Number four, the price of Xbox game consoles is reduced 50%. So what's going to happen to Xbox games? Well, this is going to be C. Okay, a shift to the right from D1 to D2. There's going to be an increase in the demand for Xbox games. And here is why. If we go back and look at our notes, an increase in demand happens when a price of a complement decreases. Well, an Xbox console and Xbox games are complements because you use them together. So if Xbox game consoles are now 50% cheaper, more people are going to start buying them. So in turn, they're going to want to buy games for it. So the demand is going to increase. The price of Xbox game consoles is reduced 50%. So what's going to happen to PlayStation game consoles? Okay, so what happens to PlayStation game consoles here? Well, there's the demand for PlayStation game consoles is going to decrease. It's going to shift D1 to D3, so it's going to be D, and that's because if we look at our notes, our demand notes, okay, decrease in demand, a shift to the left occurs when the price of a substitute item decreases. Okay, Xboxes and PlayStations are substitutes. They're both gaming consoles. So Xbox game consoles are cheaper now, so people aren't demanding PlayStation ones as much because they're more expensive. Congress passes a law that everyone has to be paid more. So what happens to inferior goods? That's going to be D. The demand is going to increase because we know from looking at our notes that when income increases and you're dealing with an inferior good, the demand decreases. Now, in that same breath, number 7, Congress passes a law that everyone is to be paid more. What happens to normal goods? The demand for that is going to go up. That's going to be C, shift to the right. Okay? Because when your income, you've got more money, you're going to buy more normal goods. Okay, the price of gasoline decreases. So what happens to gasoline? That's just A. It goes from point A to point B. The price changes. It doesn't change the quantity demanded, just the price does. Okay, the price of gasoline increases dramatically. Okay, what's going to happen to sports utility vehicles. Okay, that's going to be D. Okay, the demand is going to decrease because SUVs take a lot of gas. Gas is costing a lot more money, so people aren't going to want to buy that. They're going to want to buy a gas saver. Number 10, I feel like this one was tricky. General Motors offers a mail-in rebate for all new car purchases. That one is going to be A because the price is decreasing, and the reason for that is because you may pay the price may not be decreasing right when you buy it, but when you mail in rebate, you're getting money back, so the price is changing for that. And that one was a really tricky one. Okay, let's look at 3.03, supply, making sure you pay attention to pest stripped. Got all that information on here. Please make sure you look at those because that will help you. Okay, and here's something you need to know. An increase in supply goes to the right, a decrease goes to the left. I think some of you, especially on the equilibrium sheet, got confused and you thought that since this curve was on top of this curve, that this meant an increase. It doesn't. Look where it is on the quantity. Okay, I was here. Now my curve's going to shift and I'm going to be here. So I'm getting closer to zero. So that's a decrease. Okay, the cost of resins used in the making of plastic decreases. So what's going to happen to toys? The supply is going to increase. It's going to be C. Your supply curve is going to shift to the right. And that is because the material used to make toys is plastic. So now the cost of resins, which is used to make plastic, is going to decrease. So your materials are going to be cheaper now so you can make toys more cheaply. Okay, number 2, the government increases the minimum wage, the supply of most things. What's going to happen? That's going to be D, and that's going to be a decrease, and I'll tell you why. Let's look at our supply notes. Let's look at a decrease in supply. Government regulations on a business is increased, and minimum wage is a government regulation. And what's going to happen is employers are now having to use more money to pay employees instead of putting that money into producing their product. So that's why the supply is going to decrease. Number 3, the government increases the regulations on all delivery vehicles. So what's going to happen to FedEx and their deliveries? That's going to be D. Supply is going to decrease because government regulations have increased. So now they've got to put more money into their vehicles and less money elsewhere. The cost of toys increases. What's going to happen to toys? That's just A. The cost is the only thing changing. It's not changing the demand. So the cost goes from A to B. It goes up. Okay, the Mattel Toy Company has a 2-for-1 sale on its toys. What happens to toys? That's going to be B. The price decreases. So you go from B to A on that supply curve. And the reason for that is because now you're getting 2 for 1. Where originally one toy was $10, now I can get 2 toys for $10, which is basically saying that they're $5 a piece. So the price is decreased. The consumers all want to buy the hottest toy for Christmas. So what's going to happen to the hottest toy? That's E. That's no change. It doesn't affect the supply because even though everybody wants that toy, suppliers only have the resources they have to produce the supply they produce. Okay, the government gives a subsidy to toy producers. What's going to happen to toys? Your supply is going to increase. That's going to be C. If you remember, government increases subsidy to a business. That's like a government helping a business, so it's going to cause an increase in supply. Okay, number 8, the government places a plastic tax on all companies who use plastic. What's going to happen to toys? Supply is going to decrease. More government regulation. Okay, government increases taxes on a business, so now it's more expensive to get plastic, so we're not going to be able to make as many toys. Mattel expects the prices of toys to fall in the near future. That one is going to be C. It is going to cause an increase, a shift to the right. And the reason why, you got to go back and look at your notes. Okay. Increase in supply, shift to the right, and occurs when a producer expects the price of their product to fall in the future. They want to supply as many as they can now so they can make more money. Because in the future, toys aren't going to be as much money, so they're not going to make as much. So that's why they're trying to get more toys out now so they can sell them at a higher price. In number 10, a new toy company begins selling toys. What's going to happen to the supply of toys? It's also going to increase because now you've got two toy companies putting toys out there on the market, so your supply is going to increase. Okay, now let's look at the equilibrium chart, and I really don't know why it gave you the option for E on this, because none of them are E. Like on the answer key, none of them are E that I got from this course, so I don't even know why it gave you that option, especially since it doesn't give you the option on this. But this is your increase in demand, D1 to D2 shifts to the right, your decrease in demand. Here's your increase in supply because it's shifting to the right, and there's your decrease in supply. So your product is oranges. A drought has destroyed half of the crop. So what's going to happen to oranges? This is kind of hard because you've got to figure out supply or demand. Here it's going to be a supply issue, and it's going to be that the supply decreases. It's going to be D because the drought destroyed half of the crop, so they don't have as many oranges to supply on the market. Okay, fast food restaurants, the minimum wage is raised to $15. This is also a supply question, and the supply decreases because that minimum wage, that's a government regulation. We've got to use more money to pay our employees than to put into our fast food business and into our product. T-bone steaks. Okay, there's a personal income tax rate reduction. So what's going to happen to T-bone steaks? Okay, and that's going to have to do with the person and with demand. It's going to be B, demand's going to decrease because we're not getting back as much on our income taxes. So we're probably not going to go and splurge on the steaks. We're probably going to get, something cheap like chicken. Okay, movie popcorn. The price of movie tickets increased, so what's going to happen to the demand of movie popcorn? It's going to decrease too, because now people either A, aren't going to the movies, or they are going to the movies and they're like, that movie was $12. I'm not paying anything for popcorn. I'm broke now. So your demand is going to decrease. Okay, Disney World hotels. Disney World increases ticket prices. Okay, this one had, I think I had it as A on the answer key, but I thought it was B, so I gave you credit if you put A or B. In my opinion, if Disney World increases their ticket prices, people aren't going to be going as much, so the demand to stay at a Disney World hotel is going to decrease. But if you put B or A, that was a give me one I gave you if you put B or A. Okay, new housing construction, the cost of lumber decreases. So now we're looking at supply. What's going to happen to the supply of new housing? It's going to increase. Okay, lumber's cheap, so we can make houses cheaper. We can get more lumber to build those houses, so it's going to be C. Okay, Pepsi, the price of cola increases, so what's going to happen to the demand for Pepsi? It's going to increase because it's going to be cheaper than Coke, and people are going to just be fine with it instead of paying more money for Coke. Firewood, your local TV weather reporter says the word snow, especially true in Alabama, so the demand for firewood is going to increase, so it's going to be A, because Lord knows. You might as well put firewood, bread, and milk right there. The TV weather reporter says the word snow, the demand for all those things is going to increase. Okay, normal goods. People receive a 20% pay increase. Y'all know this, we just went over it. Okay, the demand for normal goods is going to increase because we have more income. Okay, inferior goods, people receive a 20% pay increase. That's going to be the opposite. Your demand for inferior goods is going to decrease, so it's going to be B. Okay, Samsung Galaxy. Apple iPhone 6 lowers its prices. So what's going to happen to the Samsung Galaxy? To the demand for it, it's going to decrease. Because the iPhone 6 is going to be cheaper. So people are going to want to buy that instead of paying more money for the Galaxy. Okay, light bulbs. The government places a tax on light bulb filaments. So that's taxes that producers have to pay to make their product, so it's going to cause the supply to decrease because now we've got to pay more money to get those filaments, so we're not going to be able to make as many light bulbs. Okay, let's see what happens to any business when a wave of optimism sweeps the country, causing everyone to whistle while they work. Your supply is going to go up. That's going to be C, because if people are happy at their job and everybody's kind of optimistic, their productivity is going to increase, so you're going to be able to produce more and supply more to the market. Fireworks. The government subsidizes the production of fireworks. Okay, government subsidies, they're an increase there, so your supply is going to increase, so that's going to be C. And then the last one, a new tractor is invented that cuts harvesting time in half. So what's going to happen to soybeans? Supply is going to increase because now we can harvest more soybeans in the same amount of time we used to. Like, because it's cut the time in half. Now, instead of taking an hour to harvest 1,000 soybeans, it only takes 30 minutes. So in an hour, we can harvest twice as much. Okay, I really hope that this makes sense. And if it doesn't, please contact me with any questions that you have before your test. And here's some equilibrium notes, which really that whole activity is mostly just with insect and pest strip. I think that might have been why some people get thrown off by it. But anyways, make sure you review the videos, all that stuff. Email me if you have any questions.